Hello.
Hi, okay, let me know if you can see my screen. It's going to be
Okay.
really important so that everybody has access to the PowerPoint.
Mhm. All right, I can see your screen.
Perfect. So it should say California Jobs First Regional Investment Initiative with the date at the bottom.
hmm I also see in your screen it just says too quiet for some reason. Bottom right.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but
Okay,
okay.
cool.
So we'll go ahead and get started, everyone. It's 10 a.m. It should be recording. Does it say recording on your end, Natalie?
Yep, it does.
Perfect. So, hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining. My name is Maria Linares. I know it says Jessie on the screen. I'm not Jessie. I serve as the Business Initiatives Manager at Orange County Business Council, and I'm responsible for the planning and execution of the California Jobs First initiative within the Orange County region. Today's session is an informational webinar focused on the history and background of California Jobs First and the Regional Investment Initiative, and there will be a Q&A portion at the end. So I welcome you all to add your questions in the Q&A portion of this webinar or in the chat, and then I'll get to them at the end of the presentation. And then with me, I also have Natalie with Charitable Ventures, who's our fiscal agent. And as you are asking questions, and as the fiscal agent and as someone who's worked with me on Jobs First, she'll try to answer as many questions as she can as well. So let me make sure this moves to the next slide. Perfect. So we'll be sharing the presentation after the webinar. So this webinar is being recorded and will be uploaded to our webpage in the next few days. You're welcome to hop off when needed and are welcome to view the recording on our Jobs First page once it's uploaded there. Also, friendly reminder that we will not be covering or answering questions about the notice of funding opportunity. So for project-specific webinars, we do have two optional webinars that are coming up. One is for the Job Creating Project webinar, which is held on Wednesday, February 19th at 11:30 a.m. And then we have the Community Enhancing Project webinar, and that will be held on Friday, February 21st at 9 a.m. So none of the webinars are a requirement to apply for Catalyst funding. The webinars will review the application and field questions. So please do review the application materials before attending the project webinars. So the whole purpose of today's webinar, California Jobs First, it's a state initiative aimed at building equitable and sustainable economies across California's diverse regions while fostering long-term economic resilience in the transition to a carbon neutral economy. Formerly known as SURF, the Community Economic Resilience Fund, Jobs First focuses on creating good paying jobs and awarding millions in grants. Within the California Jobs First umbrella, there is the Regional Investment Initiative, which allowed 13 regions across the state to develop economic plans specific to their region. So we are our own region in Orange County. And to grow the economy in a more equitable, inclusive, and environmentally sustainable way. The Regional Investment Initiative started in March 2023 and centers disinvested communities in California's transition to a clean energy, carbon neutral economy, ensuring the creation of good paying jobs. The Regional Investment Initiative operates in two distinct phases. It's catalyst and implementation, and then each is designed to drive progress toward inclusive and sustainable economic growth. So for a definition of disinvested communities, please take a look at page 23 of the Notice of Funding Opportunity Packet, which can be found on the Jobs First webpage. And if you have access to that, Natalie, if you could post it in the chat for people, that would also be really helpful. So to implement the Regional Investment Initiative, a diverse regional planning group was established, ensuring balanced and meaningful representation from key regional stakeholders. So this group covers many of Orange County's ethnic, geographic, and community interests. If you want specific names of folks who have served on the collaborative and are serving on the collaborative now, you can find that on the Jobs First webpage as well. So the deliverables, OCBC staff, researchers, and other consultants helped accomplish the following. We created a regional plan part 1, which is essentially a research and data report on Orange County's economy, public health, and environment. We selected priority sectors, which helped guide regional economic and workforce development. Regional Plan Part 2, which consists of strategies on how Orange County can grow the priority sectors selected. There was also significant community outreach far beyond the voices of just the collaborative. Outreach was done to Orange County residents to get their input on how Orange County can have a more equitable and environmentally sustainable economy. And then those findings were brought to the collaborative members as they decided which strategies to focus on. So all of these plans live on our Jobs First website and on the state's website as well. And then we have these 2 QR codes. We also developed an open data hub that is open to the public. So if anyone wants to review the data on public health, demographics, environmental justice, the labor market, and more, that can be found on our website or by scanning the QR codes, which you will have access to when I send out this slide deck. And then on this slide, you'll see the names of our incredible research team who have helped make a lot of this happen. And the regional plan part 2 is over 500 pages, so please read it at your own time. Regional plan part 2 is over 140 pages. My apologies. Regional plan part 1 is over 500 pages. Regional plan part 2 is about 140 pages. And I'll touch on some of the main points. So we'll focus on strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for the Orange County region. So we'll start with Orange County strengths. So key strengths include a diverse population, highly educated workforce, proximity to other major markets, transportation, infrastructure, strong K through grad school educational system, world-renowned tourist attractions, low unemployment, strong industry clusters, well-rounded economy, and efficient groundwater replenishment system. And then our Orange County weaknesses include lack of a unified county-wide vision, incorrect perceptions of Orange County as a uniformly wealthy, racially uniform area, labor force skills gap, lack of affordable housing, and open land for new housing construction, and increasingly high overall cost of living, expensive childcare, vulnerability to natural disasters such as wildfires and landslides, economic disparity within the county, and a lack of public health access in disinvested communities. But there are also opportunities for Orange County, and these include elevating disinvested communities, developing an overall regional competitiveness strategy, promoting innovation and entrepreneurship, leveraging shift age and ethnic demographics, boosting and leveraging emerging industry clusters, and then building economic resilience. And then our threats to Orange County. Orange County's declining and aging population, its high cost of living, poverty and homelessness, overregulation, widespread mental health challenges, AI and automation impacts, climate and sustainability challenges, etc. So how we facilitated outreach and engagement. So Orange County's Jobs First initiative has taken guidance and feedback from our collaborative members, which I mentioned earlier. We have about 60-something members on our collaborative organization in a variety of ways. So various organizations have helped throughout this process, including regular Zoom meetings, in-person gatherings, community surveys, significant outreach and engagement efforts, and in-person community events. And just so you all know, our meetings are open to the public. You'll find a list of our meeting dates on our Jobs First website. Our next public meeting will be March 28th, which is a Friday at 9 a.m. And then from July to September 2023, 27 outreach and engagement grantees gathered feedback from residents, businesses, and other stakeholders, especially focusing on disinvested communities in Orange County. And the purpose of outreach and engagement was to seek feedback from residents, businesses, and other stakeholders with the focus on disinvested community members in Orange County. Key areas of discussion included accessing good paying jobs, health equity, environmental equity, economic equity, as well as the challenges to attaining equity. And then additionally, that outreach aimed to explore strategies for fostering an inclusive and sustainable economy in the region, and then identifying potential solutions to promote long-term economic resilience. And then the definition of good paying jobs can be found on page 23 of the NOFO packet. So you can see that there were various outreach mechanisms. Outreach methods included surveys, canvassing, conferences, mixers, community forums, social media, town halls, and then one-on-one interviews. And of course, we want to thank our 27 grantees. We wouldn't have been able to do this without their support. As for community characteristics, so some of the responses came from students, homemakers, housewives, retired population, nonprofit sector, health and education professionals, service industry and sales, administrative roles, self-employed and small business owners, blue-collar jobs, unemployed, not working, other roles such as attorney, engineer, graphic designer, real estate agents, etc. And then remember that all of the information and data can be found in the regional plans and in the QR code in the next slide, which don't take out your phones and freak out that you don't have time to scan it. You will have access to it when I email everybody the slides. So 10 priority industries. In the regional plan part 2 phase, the collaborative focused on selecting priority industries and strategies to build a more equitable and environmentally sustainable economy, improving quality of life for all Orange County residents. So two main goals emerged: focus on higher paying industries with pathways for disinvested communities, and improve wages and conditions in lower paying industries where disinvested communities already work. So these industries are important because when it comes to regional investment initiative funding awarded to the region, the collaborative will be looking for projects that target those 10 industries. So you will want to read about them in the regional plan part 2. And then here is the code, but Natalie will also post that on the chat. And then top line strategies, we have 8 of them. One of the goals of funding Catalyst pre-development activities is to advance projects that meet the top line strategies in the Jobs First Regional Plan Part 2. So a list of possible pre-development activities can be found in the PDF document at the top of our Job First page within the Catalyst funding section. In short, pre-development activities include a range of early stage efforts necessary to prepare for a project's implementation. And the strategies selected by the collaborative are the first 2 are career pathways and apprenticeships, enhanced quality of life, small business, worker ownership, and entrepreneurship, housing, uplift community voices through respectful cultural engagement, green and emerging technology and innovation, and climate resilient environment. And all of these can be found in page 9 of the regional plan part 2. So in September of 2024, we held a Jobs First Forum with nearly 200 attendees. So we provided a presentation on over a year and a half worth of work. The event was very inclusive. We hired small business vendors. You can see in the pictures, we have some of the food trucks. They brought amazing shrimp tacos and tacos de birria and tacos de asada and horchata. We created a very family-friendly environment where we also provided childcare and entertainment for the children. we allowed everyone to participate without barriers. That was one of the biggest goals that we had. We had live music. We provided translation services, allowing all attendees to fully engage with the program content. I was even able to bring my mom, who is Spanish speaking only, and she was able to listen to the presentation. So we'll move into why you all are here. So there's two sources of funding to help fund projects and activities in Orange County. There's implementation, and then there's also Catalyst. So Catalyst funding is already available. We're currently in the first round of applications. So that launched this week on Monday. The purpose of the funding is to support activities that advance projects to become implementation ready. We will not fund projects that are asking for implementation funding. Projects must be physically located in or significantly involve Orange County residents, significantly benefit disinvested communities, and align with industries and or strategies outlined in the Jobs First Regional Plan Part 2. And I know I keep mentioning the Regional Plan Part 2, but that's because I really want to ensure that you all reference that when submitting your application. And you'll see a timeline here of the NOFO release, the proposers webinars, applications due, so they're due March 14, 2025, approximate date of award notifications, which will be April 11, 2025. And then all activities must be completed by September 30, 2026. So implementation funding totals 150 million over 3 years, with about 50 million available each year for projects. It is a competitive process as Orange County will compete with 12 other regions in the state. Projects must get approval from the regional collaborative before the state can consider them for funding. And the regional collaborative will ensure that projects align with local needs, strategies, and targeted industry clusters identified in the Regional Plan Part 2. The Orange County Business Council will prioritize projects that focus on these clusters and attract new investment dollars to specific initiatives. The first round of funding applications, again, as a reminder, is scheduled, or I actually didn't mention that earlier, sorry. It's scheduled to open early 2025. So the implementation funding is through the state. So we're just waiting to hear back from the state on when their first round of applications will open. So next steps. Through Governor Newsom's Regional Investment Initiative, we're really excited. It's all we've been talking about to announce the launch of the Catalyst funding opportunity. This is first of its kind program. It's your opportunity to secure funding that supports the development of innovative projects, foster good paying jobs, and also ensures that disinvested communities are at the forefront of California's economic growth. One of the questions I've received recently is this federal funding? This is not federal funding, this is state funding, thanks to the Newsom administration and the California State Legislature. So for those interested in applying, we strongly encourage attending the optional NOFO-specific webinars for detailed guidance. You can find registration details on our Jobs First website or links embedded within the presentation. I'll also have Natalie post those two in the chat. And then don't worry if you're not a grant writing pro, we have grant writing mentors available to assist you. You are welcome to request up to 5 hours of mentorship by emailing jobsfirst@ocbc.org. I will be monitoring that email and I will happily connect you to a grant writing mentor. I really encourage you to take up an opportunity because they're very eager to help you. We just had a meeting yesterday and they're very excited to connect with you. And I know that grant writing mentorship isn't always available through organizations that offer grants. So this is a very unique opportunity. And then if you'd like to be added to the constant contact list to receive our newsletters, I'm sending those out as well. So if you received a newsletter on Monday, I was the one that sent that out. Please send me an email and I'm happy to add you to our constant contact list. And then our contact information will be in the last slide. Information about Catalyst funding will continue to be released throughout the newsletters as well. And then one final reminder, this webinar was designed to provide context, so please refer to the NOFO webinars for application-specific details. If anything on our NOFO isn't clear, we do have a Q&A portion on our webpage and an FAQ document as well. So answers to submitted questions will be updated weekly on our page while the application window remains open. Please take a look. There may be questions that you have that have already been answered. Catalyst application materials found on our webpage are under the NOFO section. Again, applications close on March 14, 2025 by 11:59 p.m. We will not accept late applications, so please make sure that you turn those in on time or just turn them in early just to prevent any technical issues. And then proposers webinars links will be embedded within this slide. I'll be sending the deck out to all of you sometime today. But I do want to show you real quick what our webpage looks like. So before I move to doing that, if you'd like to write down my information, jobsfirst@ocbc.org, please go ahead and do that. Again, I monitor this email, so I am happy to respond to you. I'm usually very responsive. So for now, stop share screen while I get the website page up. Okay. So this is what our page looks like. If you have any issues with the web page, what I have found is really helpful is if you reload it. So sometimes it'll pop up and it'll say something about a security certificate or something. So I'll usually refresh the page. See, like it'll say something like this. I'll usually refresh the page, or I'll go on Google and just put in like OCBC, California Jobs First, and then this will pop up. There's some explanation here about Jobs First, the Regional Investment Initiative. It explains the Catalyst funding, which is the phase that we're in now. A list of pre-development activities are here. This is going to be really important for all of you to access. The Notice of Funding Opportunity, NOFO. I know for some of you, you know them as an RFP or I think RFA, SFP, but we're calling it a NOFO. Here's the regional plan part 2. And then everything you need is here. The NOFO packet, the job creating applications, community enhancing applications, the budget narrative, the budget template, disinvested communities. We have a map on here that you can look at, which is also referenced in the NOFO packet, graphic timeline, the proposers webinars that I talked about earlier, which again are optional. They're not mandatory. They're just very helpful. So I encourage you to attend. The webinar you're in today is this one here, the Regional Investment Initiative. This is the question and answer page that I talked about. So this is that section where if you have any questions, send them our way. Today we will be uploading the first document with the questions that were asked this week. Here's our frequently asked questions section. So if you click on here, there were questions that I thought, okay, what could come up in the process? And so I drafted a question for questions and answers for all of you. And then if you go down the page, it's just a lot more information about the state, like the economic blueprint. There's a glossary of key terms. I know some terms are not, people are not familiar with it. And then collaborative meetings, you can access our virtual meetings here, calendar of events, and then a list of all of our collaborative members, the 60-something members I mentioned earlier, and the implementation funding. So as you can see, we have a lot of information. It can be very overwhelming, but it's really important that you all take a look at the webpage. I try to make it as accessible as I could. Our team worked really hard on this, so please do visit that. I will now go back to my slide with the information, in case you all want to take a note of that. So I will be moving to the Q&A portion now, but I do want to remind you all this webinar was designed to provide the historical background so you all could understand what you're applying for. But I'm not answering any NOFO specific questions today. So refer to the NOFO webinars for application specific details. But I will stop share screen. And Natalie, if you could help me please monitor the Q&A in case any questions came in. I don't see any. I will look at the chat. I will look to see if anybody's raising their hand.
Hi, Maria. We have a question come in through the chat. Did you
Okay.
want me to read it or did you want to get to it?
I'll get to it.
Okay, sounds good.
I want to show them what the NOFO packet looks like. I think that's going to be helpful too. I think that will be important for people.
And Maria, as you're pulling that up, I should say, there was a question that came in from an anonymous attendee that asked, how can we determine which opportunity is a better fit for our project, the job creation or the community enhancement?
Okay, let me look at the question. Is it in the Q&A?
Yes, it's in the QA.
Okay. Okay, so I also see one that says job creating app link above does not work for me. Is it embedded in the packet? Yes, so it will be embedded in the NOFO packet. I will also be emailing it to all of you. If you do have any issues with accessing them, email me at jobsfirst@ocbc.org, and then I can send it as an attachment to the email. I have found again that if you refresh the page, that's usually really helpful. So I'll look up the NOFO packet real quick. Just bear with me, everyone. Okay. So let me share screen. So is it showing the glossary?
Yes, I see it says section 7.
Okay, so in this section, you'll see the glossary. So there'll be a definition for good paying jobs. So good paying jobs are occupations that offer baseline annual earnings of $48,353, receive employer-sponsored healthcare, have full-time 35 hours or more a week, and full-year appointments of 50 weeks or more. So this is very specific to Orange County. So good paying jobs may not be the same for other counties or other states. And then disinvested communities. So to find the definition for disinvested communities, you can also find that here. So even like just an example, high poverty area and high unemployment area as designated by the California Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, California Competes Tax Credit Program. It could be something like, or it is something like census tracts with median household incomes at or below 80% of the statewide median income or with median household incomes at or below the threshold designated as low income. So I'll stop share screen. Is there a maximum dollar amount that will be awarded? So it depends on the application that you're applying for. So there's the job creating and community enhancing, but for that, you'll have to attend those 2 webinars where we will be answering those specific questions. Okay, so I tried refreshing and that didn't help. Okay, so I am so sorry that you're having issues. Please email me and I'll happily upload all of the attachments and then send them to you as well. And I'll keep going back to look.
Maria, we have 3 questions open in the Q&A section, so I'll let you get to those.
Okay, so one question is, how can we determine which opportunity is better fit for our project? I would say look at the NOFO packet. It has an explanation of what a job creating application would look like, and then what community enhancing application would look like, and then look at each of the applications as well, and look to see as you're answering which one fits your project more. What's a typical budget amount? for an enhancement community proposal. Okay, so you'll have to attend the community enhancement webinar for us to answer the community enhancement questions. I'm so sorry. Has this program existed before? It has not. It has not. This launched in 2021 with the Newsom administration. It was after the pandemic, and they were looking for ways to help our disinvested communities and uplift them and ensure that we grew the economy in California, that we can become self-sustainable. So it's never been done before. It's one of a kind. I don't hear a lot of organizations who provide grants that they also provide grant writing opportunities and that they don't charge the clients. So that's another thing that's very different. Something where I feel like we've been very inclusive and uplifted our disinvested communities is we've also compensated our community residents who have served on the collaborative. Not only did they have voting power, but we also compensated them for their time. So you don't really hear that a lot when people serve on boards or are part of a collaborative. Okay, so what does grant writing support look like? Okay, so for that, email me jobsfirst@ocbc.org so I can connect you to our grant writing mentors. They would be able to answer that question for you. I'm not a grant writing professional. I'm also not a mentor. We are bringing them on board to ensure that they can provide that support for you. And I promise they're super helpful. And even when it relates to the application packet, and the actual applications, as I've looked at them and compared them to other grant applications that I've seen released, I think, have one of the easier applications to fill out. So definitely take that opportunity. Okay, so let me keep looking in the chat. So we can remove the one that's in the question and answer, Natalie, that talks about the budget. Okay, I just realized Safari doesn't work with any OCBC page, but I try to use Google Chrome and I can't access the web page. Okay, so if you can't access our web pages, please send me an email and then send me a screenshot of what you're looking at so I can try to see if our IT team can work on the back end, but also I can send you all of the attachments that you will need. Okay, I'm still reading the chat. Okay, can you demonstrate how to use the disinvested communities tool on the website? I'm not sure what I'm looking at. Yes, of course. Let me go to that now. Okay, so I'm going to share screen. Okay, so this is what the disinvested communities tool looks like. You'll find here investments that benefit disinvested communities will be a priority for proposed projects. And then you can click on the ArcGIS Hub as well. We do need to update this. It does still mention SURF, which I mentioned earlier. That was the original name of the program. When I want to look at stakeholder mapping and details, I go here. And then you can see names of different organizations that submitted their contact information and details about their website. So this was all self-reported. So any information that's on here came directly from the organizations that you see on this list. You can also filter them. So for example, you might want to look at, are they a voting member? What is their service area? So I grew up in Santa Ana. I was raised in Santa Ana. So I might click Santa Ana. And I might want to look at the city of Santa Ana Economic Development Org, or climate action campaign. So you can filter it that way. Service sector, disinvested or underserved community. You look at that as well. So Delhi Center pops up. And then let me take you back. You can also look at other parts like Disinvested Communities Web Map, Orange County Community Analysis, Transportation and Community Assessment. So I would say play around with the page at your own time, and then see what you find. But we added as many resources as we possibly could. I will stop share. Okay, I will go back to the chat. I don't see Q&A.
I think next would be Alberto Roca, what starts with FII.
Okay, website certificate issues can arise if users' browsers is set at very high security setting. Recommend using only standard security setting. Chrome, Firefox, Safari. Turn it off. Prevent cross-site tracking under privacy settings. Oh, thank you, Alberto. Thank you for sharing that. I also found that on some devices, like if you're using the device through your organization, it might not pop up. And then if you go to like your own personal laptop or your own personal computer, it might pop up on there. Okay, the next question, should applications align with the regional K through 16 collaborative funding projects? So I will refer you to our NOFO packet and then look at the scoring criteria and look at the job creating section and then the community enhancing section. Okay, next one. Thanks for the great job. You referenced a meeting OCBC convened with community organizations. Is a list of those attendees available? Yes, so all of the organizations are on our California Jobs First webpage. You'll just go to the section that says collaborative members. So all 60-something members, orgs, and names are on there. If they're community residents, their full name is on there as well. Okay, next. I was able to access everything once I started using Google Chrome. Okay, Keith, thank you for letting us know. I'll go to the Q&A. Will we have access to the recording after the meeting? Yes, you will have access to the recording. So I will ask our communications department internally to please upload this webinar to our website. So you'll be able to go back and reference anything that I mentioned. And then I will also send a recap email either today or tomorrow, and then attach the slides so you all have access to everything, and I'll make sure that links are also included. And I don't see any more questions. If you all have any questions about the history of Jobs First, know that the webinar isn't the only option. You can also email me at jobsfirst@ocbc.org. I am very responsive. This initiative has become my priority next to my children, of course. So if you want to contact me, I'm happy to answer any questions. Perfect. Okay. I don't see anything else. Natalie, do you see anything on your end?
Maria, forgive me if this was answered, but were you able to address Amy's question? She asked a question at 10:31 about the regional K-16 collaborative.
Yes, I
Okay,
referred
so
Amy
sorry.
back to our NOFO. No, you're okay.
Got it.
Thank you
Thank
for
you. Of
helping me with that. Yeah.
course. I don't see anything
Okay.
else on my end.
I don't see anything either. So you all get 6 minutes back of your time. Email us, please, if there's anything else I can do to help you, support you. Natalie, thank you so much for being here. And thank you, everybody, for attending this webinar. I hope that you all found it really helpful.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. You all have an amazing day and enjoy your weekend, okay?